Will XRP make it? The FUD is unbelievable. The attacks are out of control. Will XRP make it? In my opinion, abso-effing-lutely. I'm going to break down from my personal perspective. I'm going to share some personal stories, and I'm going to show you the FUD that's happening. And I'm going to give you a recommendation to read a book. And I want you to read this book, and I want you to study it over and over and over again. There's a reason why I'm so stoic. There's a reason why I'm so calm. And there's a reason why I don't jump in and out of cryptos based on other people's opinion. It's the books that I read, the people that I study, and my investment strategy. So if you truly want to build financial freedom and you want to build an ecosystem last a lifetime, you have to pay attention to what I'm about to say. Will XRP make it? In my opinion, it not only is going to make it, but it's going to be one of the most disruptive financial technologies that we've ever seen. And many are going to make it. It's not going to be just XRP. It's not going to be just Bitcoin. It's not going to be just Solana. And the tribalism is what destroys people's portfolio. Okay. Billionaires and multi-millionaires aren't sitting there on the internet attacking other people. They're focused. They're disciplined. They're making big moves. They're playing checkers behind the scenes. So we're going to break this down in detail, but I'm going to storytell a little bit through this process. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I don't want to see you get wrecked. I don't want to see you get hurt. And what I'm here to tell you is just like Warren Buffett said, if you got out of college, and he said a punch card with 20 investments, but if you really study Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, God rest Charlie Munger's soul, amazing human beings, amazing. So I study Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio. That's a type of investing that I do. I'm stoic, I'm calm, I'm long-term. Okay, I'll take it down to 3. If you had a punch card with only 3 investments that you could make, you would do very, very, very well. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. So you would figure out and you would study the companies at a deep level. And I'm going to give you a book recommendation that all of you should read. Okay. You would study the companies. You would look at their financials. You would look at the board of directors. You would look at the actual team. You would look at their survivability in the face of adversity. You would look if they're actually real world, and you would stick with them. And if you stuck with them long enough, not timing the market, but time in the market, you'd become wealthy. So I'll give you an example. December 20th, 2020. I had been stacking XRP and I started talking about it on my channel. And all of a sudden, SEC sued Ripple. And there was this immediate visceral response. Do you know how many people, thousands of people, started jumping out of XRP? Because I had read these books, because I started studying billionaires, I stopped for a moment. I took a deep breath. And I decided to go all in. There's actually a video on my YouTube channel where I did like a little press release because so many people were messaging me, and channel was much smaller back then. And I was like, listen, I want to share with people what I'm doing. And I said, I'm holding on like a tick on a dog. And I went all in. And it's my #1 holding now because of the book that I read and because of the people that I study. I believe in XRP. I believe in Bitcoin. And I believe in Solana. Those are my top 3 that I'm going to continue to accumulate. Now, I have many others that I share on the back end of every video, but those are my top 3, and I'm going to continue to accumulate those. XRP and Bitcoin on a daily basis, and I dollar cost average into Solana. I don't care about the bull run. I don't care about the bear market. What I care about is entry points and profiting when the time is right. That's it. I'm not worried about what's going to happen September 5th or November 21st and this and that. When it happens, I already have a plan set up to take profits. And when the markets go red, I celebrate and I buy. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a book, and then I'm going to show you all the FUD that's happening. But this is great news, guys, because when the FUD gets really heavy, that means something big is coming. That's how nature works. That's how humanity works. When it gets really chaotic, I had a pretty chaotic week last week with a lot of, you know how everything happens, right? My garage door completely broke. I had to get a full new garage door. One of my cars had to go in for service, super expensive service. The everything was just like expenses. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, that's how it works. And now I'm coming out of that focus, that energy, and boom, abundance. This is just how it works, guys. So all the FUD is great news if you understand what you're doing. So the first thing I want to show you guys is Cointelegraph posted this interview. It was kind of out of the blue. They just posted this, which I couldn't really connect it to anything. But then all of a sudden, all this FUD comes out. It says, insight, the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit has finally been concluded on August 7th, 2025. with both parties dropping appeals, giving XRP a definitive key legal clarity as not a security when sold on public exchanges. Okay, this was posted on September 1st, which I thought was kind of weird because August 1st that ended, but they just randomly posted this on September 1st. But here's the key. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is a book that you need to read. Okay, they are the definitive that they are not a security. So when you look at your investments, as we go into the next book that you should read, or the book that you should read, The Intelligent Investor, if you look at Intelligent Investor, that is a good shot there. You look at there in The Intelligent Investor, what does it say? If the company doesn't make over 100 million a year, then you should probably think about investing in it. Sorry, think about not investing in it. Do they have a track record, right? Or do they have are they heavily capitalized, right? What does their debt to income look like? Right? What is their potential company valuation? What technologies do they have? What's their board of directors? What's their track record? They beat the SEC. They beat the SEC. And some people, when they see this FUD that's going on, they literally exit their investments. That's not an intelligent investor. That means you're emotional. And guess what? Your emotions are their profit. Okay. So everybody should read and study the book Intelligent Investor. Warren Buffett read this book he was studying investing in stocks at 11 already. By 14, he read Intelligent Investor. He flipped from investing in stocks, which means the markets, and investing in companies. That's exactly how I do my investments in crypto. Okay. Some of them aren't companies, but can I measure it? I think Bitcoin's a store of value. I like the fixed supply. I like the scarcity of it. I like the fact that it's cross-border, right? I study who's buying this stuff, not what people are saying on Twitter and the FUD going back and forth. And I'm an XRP holder too. Okay. And I openly talk about this stuff, and I get hate from XRP people around me and Bitcoin. I get hate from Bitcoin people about XRP, but it doesn't matter. We're all having an interpersonal journey that we should be focused on ourselves. It's your journey. I have no idea what your paradigm is. I know what my wealth paradigm is. I know what we've created. I know the cash flow models that we've created. I know the businesses that we've created. I know that the asset portfolio that we've created for our company and personally, and it's working. So why would I listen to somebody? Well, why would you as well listen to somebody on Twitter that is attacking you for the decisions you made when they have no idea what your paradigm is? And I'm telling you, the reason why I'm being so stern about this is because this is why people get wrecked. I've coached 13,000 people since 2020. Do you know how many people have gotten wrecked off of a tweet? And I'm like, why are you making a financial decision off a tweet? Like, what do you feel about it? Okay, so now here's where all the FUD starts coming in, right? So people are like, what's going on with XRP? I think it's the Chainlink is attacking them, and Litecoin's attacking them, and Bitcoin's attacking them. So let's show what's going on. Okay, so Good Morning Crypto posted this. It says, why is XRP attacked so often? Every negative thread on XRP generates 10 times on algorithmic engagement. That's wild, right? People love to hate because it gets engagement. Okay. And then this came out, and I had to, usually I don't focus on any negativity, but I had to make a comment on this because I thought this was so weird. So this for me goes into the intelligent investor, right? So if we look at Litecoin as a company, right? And Warren Buffett in this moment right here. So this is the Warren Buffett style investing. So Litecoin posted this, okay? And it says, fun fact, a comet smells like rotten eggs, urine, burning matches, and almonds. Most scientists say that the closest comparison to this phenomenon on Earth is an idea that tokens called XRP would be sold off to retail investors with an illusion that the digital bank drive-up tube, where does it say? Digital bank drive-up tube is worth more than the money it transfers. Okay. And then he goes on, and I'm like, why even post that? Why? Like, I'll let you decide your opinion on why they're posting that. I put really odd. This is my response. You've got Brad Garlinghouse, the Ripple team, donating artwork at the 2025 Bitcoin conference and showing gratitude. And then this, I said, there's room for everyone to win. Brad Garlinghouse isn't spending time bashing other protocols on Twitter. He doesn't. He's at the White House trying to figure out the future of our financial system, right? So for me, going back to the book Intelligent Investor, if I'm looking at, and this isn't about attacking Litecoin. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm just giving you guys the calm, stoic perspective. Like if Warren Buffett was in Litecoin, he'd be looking at that and going, what the hell are you doing with your marketing team here? He's left investments because of or not, I wouldn't say, I don't know specifically marketing teams, but leadership changes, right? That's not leadership. It's kind of weird, right? I like to focus on companies that are focused, that are disciplined, that are moving the needle forward, that ignore the noise, that get sued by the SEC for 5 years and just keep pushing forward. Okay. Well, the FUD continue on. James Rule posted this. This gentleman, I'm not even sure who this gentleman is, but listen to this. This is the type of stuff that FUDs people out.
And it's not growing. The one company we found who is actually using XRP is a Mexican US company that does remittances, and they've done 10 to 15 transactions since October, averaging between $500 and $1,000.
Just 10 to 15.
Looks like this guy's reading a script.
Total transactions.
So weird.
Correct.
Look at this guy.
And that's
guy's like just 10 to 15. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. But the problem is people make people will sell their XRP or their investment because of stuff like this, because it's on Bloomberg.
Go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
Well, that's the only company that we could find that is actually using this digital token for the stated purpose that Ripple, puts out on Twitter and in other places all the time. That is what they're saying that this is all about.
Really, man. Really. It's silly stuff, man. It's just silly. And the reason why I say this is it's just, I don't know, man. I think it's time to take a deep breath, put your blinders on, get disciplined. Let's listen to Charles Hoskins here.
For us to service all the needs of Bitcoin DeFi and XRP DeFi. And I would also like 3 to 5 clients to be horizontal, meaning within 12 to 24 months, they can begin to compete. We work with a lot of people, including other ecosystems, who have contributed to some of this language. Look at the midnight airdrop, which was offered to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, XRP, especially XRP. Look at the history there. And now we're friends. I was just with Brad Garlinghouse at a roundtable with the Federal Reserve at the SALT conference in Jackson. And somehow, some way, we got along really well and said, hey, we need to talk more. That's maturity about these things.
It's maturity. It's not one versus the other, guys. We're all in this boat together. If you like Bitcoin, great. I love Bitcoin, man. And people say you can't build wealth with Bitcoin. We're actually utilizing it. Actually, we just had a conversation with my leadership team around this. It's we used Bitcoin to buy a cash flowing business. We're probably going to pay it off. We're going to pay it off in 6 months. We're going to pay it off today. Probably. We're going to have a conversation around it. And my liquidity's back. I borrow 25% leverage with my digital assets because of the volatility. And then what I'll do, boom, I'll look at the landscape and I'm going to buy more cash flow. I'm growing my Bitcoin 50% every single year. It's a phenomenal store of value. I'm utilizing it. So someone's like, well, it's going to go to zero and by 2029. I was like, well, if it goes to zero, I already bought a cash flowing business. If we pay it off within the next 3 days, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 25% leverage of my overall portfolio and I'm going to buy more. I'm going to buy some cash generating dividends. And then I'm going to pay that off as quick as possible. And then once that's paid off in 4 to 5 months, then I'll have cash flowing business that I created that's creating cash for the rest of my life, cash generating dividend that'll pay cash the rest of my life as long as the companies stay there, right? So if it collapses in 10 years, along the way, I bought 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cash generating businesses or dividends. So I made a ton of money multiplying it, right? So my point is, please stay calm, okay? If you have to know why you're invested, not what to invest in, why you're invested. So then, all these amazing things are coming out as all this FUD is going out. Viva Power partners with Doppler Finance for institutional XRP RLUSD yield program, maximizing returns on crypto strategies. You're going to start to see tons of people putting XRP into their treasury. Okay. This is more of the news. A NASDAQ listed XRP treasury company, Viva Power, will deploy 30 million with Doppler Finance as the first stage of its planned 200 million XRP treasury yield program. You're going to see a lot of this type of stuff happening. Bitcoin treasuries, XRP treasuries, right? We have that for our company. Now, treasuries is just, my CFO explains it well. It's when you use the word treasury, people reach out to me, how do you create a treasury? So I have my personal strategy, and we mimicked it at our company level. So we run a 20% profit margin with one of our companies, our main company. We run a 20% profit margin. We take 20% of the profit and we invest in Bitcoin, XRP, and our dividend strategy, right? So treasury is when we sit down our quarterly meeting, they look at the treasury. How much cash do we have? How much XRP do we have? How much Bitcoin do we have? How many dividends do we have? So that's the treasury, right? It's what you're doing with your cash, what you're doing with your investments, okay? Nate Garassi posted this. XRP ETF 2025 approval odds are 87%. He thinks it's personally closer to 100. That's going to be a big catalyst, right? So, you know, people are like, XRP is going away. It's a shit coin. It's like, then why would tons of banks be trying to approve an XRP ETF? Why do we have a Bitcoin ETF? Why do we have an Ethereum ETF? What do you think the top three are going to be in people's portfolio when we start out? XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. My top three are XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. Okay. And then Crypto Airy posted this, says a few more acquisitions and they're off the chart, sources says on Crunchbake. This is all the stuff that's happening, guys. This is the growth trend of Ripple. This is how I make my investments. This is how I make my investments. I don't do it off Twitter, off, you know, the negative comments, all that type of stuff. I focus on what the company is actually doing. Ripple, the company, I know XRP are separate, but XRP, the technology that they created, of course, it's their baby, man. This thing is going to do very, very, very well. The company's going to do very, very well. So I just hope that this maybe helps you stay calm. That's what I want to continue to portray here is calmness and stoicism and repetition. That's what I do. I'm a professional at repetition. And my favorite comment is, you say the same shit every day. Thank you. You're absolutely right. That's my success. That's my secret sauce. Never been the smartest guy in the world, but one thing that I can do is repeat the same things over and over and over and over again until they become reality. That's how it works. I got blinders on. It's God, family, protect my ecosystem at all costs. Stay out of other men and women's business. I'm too busy working on mine. This is as deep as I'll go into the negativity. This is it. And the reason why I'm bringing this forward is because of the massive amount of messages I've been getting around fear around this stuff. And it told me that, hey, I need to share my personal story. I need to share the tools that I use and the people that I study. I'm studying billionaires obsessively and understanding how do they operate. They don't have a ton. They don't have 50 different cryptocurrencies or 50 different investments. They're hyper-focused. They're super concentrated. Once they profit, they pull profits and they diversify. They protect, protect, protect. Okay. They don't make decisions like this. It's time in the market, not timing the market. When you're freaking out, they're buying up your fear. Okay. When you're trying to get rich quick, they're selling off the top a little bit. They're using things like insurance. They're creating cash flow, right? They're leveraging against their assets to get tax-free money. You can operate like that at a small level. I did it at a small level, built a little ecosystem, and it just keeps increasing. And it's just about discipline, consistency, filling the buckets. I'm not worried about the 2025 bull run into 2026. I have exit targets set up using Merlin. You can download Merlin 30 days free. This is I'm the co-founder and creator of this company. We created this to keep you calm. Number one is I use Merlin when I'm traveling because it's an interface. Nobody can hack my crypto. Traveling around, I only use Merlin to look at my crypto. It's an interface. It brings all your exchanges into one place. You can see everything in one snapshot. Let me give you an example. Boom. Look at all these this is our demo account. All the assets are in one place, daily gains and losses. You don't have to go to your exchanges on some whacked out Wi-Fi, right? You can look at the markets. We can see what's going on. You got BTC at 57% dominance. You got, Bitcoin up 1%. You got ETH. You see the top three, Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP. Market cap's at 3.8 trillion. It's come down from 4 trillion. So I can see the market at a snapshot and boom, I can set up exit plans and we teach you how to do it. We call it profit taking, right? Then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. Boom. We got the best customer service in the world. You can look at our reviews. So we have a badass team. It's one of the fastest growing crypto trackers in the world. It's the best way to track your crypto and set up exit plans. And it also keeps your crypto safe in the fact that if you're out traveling, looking at Wi-Fi, you can actually see everything in one place. You don't have to go onto your exchanges and things like that. And then when you go to exercise your trade, you go to your exchange calmly on a safe Wi-Fi, a secure Wi-Fi, and then you do your trade. So I love you guys very, very much. Again, I thought very thoughtfully about how to deliver this message because the negative stuff doesn't work for me, man. Like even the comments, you guys can see how I respond to comments with negativity. It's like, I love you, bro. Like, it just, it doesn't make any sense, man. It's silly. It really hurts people financially. People make decisions based on emotion, and that's how you get wrecked, guys. That's why the 1% remain the 1%. That's why Jim Rohn says you give $1 million to every single person in society, it's going to be right back in the same 1%'s hands. It's all a mindset. It's all a mindset. And we weren't taught this type of stuff, right? I wasn't taught it. I lost my money 3 times in my lifetime. I've always been able to make money. I lost my money 3 times. Why? Because I didn't understand how money actually worked. So then finally in 2020, when they took away my business, I finally became obsessed with understanding how money moves through the system. I'm like, oh, it ain't that big of a deal. It's called currency for a reason. It needs to be current, it needs to be protected, it needs to be leveraged, it needs to move. Richest man in Babylon. So the 3 books you should be reading. Number 1, the Bible. Number 1, the Bible. And if you want to study wealth in the Bible, Wisdom of King Solomon. Okay. Number 2 is Intelligent Investor. After this call, after this live or whatever this video, Intelligent Investor. Number 3, Richest Man in Babylon. The Bible, Wisdom of King Solomon, Intelligent Investor, Richest Man in Babylon. My brain just shut down for a second. Okay. Here's how my ecosystem works. Cash flow into deflationary assets, fixed supply. Bitcoin, XRP are my number 1 and number 2. They have fixed supplies. When I profit from these cryptocurrencies, we'll take Bitcoin and move that out of the way. All other cryptos, altcoins, I pull profits. I keep 50% in forever. I pull profits, and then I move it into cash value life insurance. Okay. What does that do? It creates number 4, leverage. So remember, we moved Bitcoin over here, got my Bitcoin bank, and I got my insurance bank. Okay. So currently I'm actually practicing what I preach. I did a Bitcoin loan, very low leverage, really important. Watch my education videos where I explain this. Really low leverage because it's super volatile. I only leverage, my rule is 25% on digital assets. Okay. Borrowed, bought the cash generating firm, cash generating. Actually, probably in the next week, we're going to wait till April. We have the cash flow. We're going to pay it off. Right. So I'll pay it off. Boom. LTV's back. What am I going to do? Leverage again. I'm going to buy more cash flow. I only borrow from my digital assets if I can buy something that's going to appreciate to pay it off, or if it creates cash flow. So you can get into like synthetic call options that pay high risk, high return, right? Then you de-risk, low risk, high risk, de-risk. Okay. Then you got, mid-tier, you got medium, which is, things where you can get, they're not synthetic calls. It's getting exposure to the asset class, like the Magnificent Seven, things like that. You're getting cash flow. So ETFs that pay you dividends. And then you go all the way down to things like Coca-Cola, Apple, as you start to get these big liquidity events where you get consistent returns like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's style is really safe. Medium is pretty safe, right? It's like locked into the S&P and these different, mixes that give you cash flow. I'm all about cash flow, right? Because markets go up and down, but cash flow I can transmute into things like Bitcoin and XRP that are going to be here. And then I got my insurance buckets. So when I profit, I'm going to take the cash, boom, the profits. Okay. Then I'm going to stuff it into my cash value life insurance, max fund those policies. Boom, we go into the bear market 2026. Damn well, I'm going to leverage those policies and do what? Buy back into the deflationary assets when they're bottomed out, intelligent investor. Okay, buy more cash flow to pay off the loan. And then what happens when the loan is paid off? We leverage again. We do it again. What happens when the Bitcoin loan is paid off? We do it again. We leverage again. That's what I'm doing. All of us are using debt. Okay, remember Dave Ramsey said, he wouldn't take a loan at 0% for $1 billion. How did he build his empire? Real estate. Did he buy all that real estate cash? I think he got loans. I could be wrong, but I think he got loans, right? That's leverage. So he built his empire through leverage, through getting mortgages and buying homes. I could be wrong, but from what I understand is he used loans that he had to pay interest to buy homes, right? We're all using leverage. It's not some, being completely cash and no debt is a great way to live, of course. But the whole system is debt. The whole system is debt. It's only interest. So would you rather be on the poverty side of it, borrowing against your future self to become poor, or would you rather be on the wealth side of it, borrowing against your assets to add to your future self? And that's what I changed. I just changed those models. I did a small level, and by 2030, we'll be playing at a different level. And that's all it is. And it's discipline. It's consistent. It's ignoring the noise. Everybody has a different ecosystem and plan, which I respect. But mine works for me. It's worked very well for me, and it's going to continue to work because it's a plan. So what is your plan? Are you going to stick to it? Are you going to be disciplined? I hope this message reaches you well. If you made this for a comment warrior, I love you guys. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you.